The Rockets grabbed Jabari Smith Jr. at number 3, but they were not done in the first round of the 2022 NBA draft. At number 17, they snagged LSU forward Tari Eason. Joining me now from Locked On Rockets, Jackson Gatlin. And Jackson, a pair of forwards now for Houston. What do you think of this Eason pick?
Man, Peter, the Rockets have completely, within the span of about an hour and a half from when they made the selection and had Jabari fall to them at number 3 to picking up Tari Eason at 17, they have completely revamped their defensive identity in about an hour and a half span. Tari Eason was absolutely at the top of my board, a guy that I had hoped and prayed would fall to the Rockets at pick number 17. Truly a guy who can really guard all 5 positions on the floor. And to boot, he's got a pretty decent offensive package for a guy who's giving you that much defensively, a 37% three-point shooter. Having those two guys, we're going to be talking about Clamp City instead of Clutch City down in Houston.
Bringing in our national draft, Sam Ferris and Rafael Barlow. And Sam, I'll start with you. What do you think of this combination now of forwards for the Rockets?
I thought this was basically the best possible scenario for the Rockets. As Jackson said, they might have just solved their wing issue tonight. To get Bari and Tari, if we want to use that as a nickname moving forward, Bari and Tari on the wings provide that defensive versatility to help out a guy like Sengun at the 5. And in terms of a physical comp, I'm not comparing him to him as a player, but his measurements are about the exact same as Kawhi Leonard with long arms, big hands. And I'll finish it off with a stat here. Over the last 10 years in college basketball, only 3 guys have posted a season with at least a block rate of 4 and a steal rate of 4.5. That's GP2, Gary Payton II, Matisse Thybulle, and Tari Eason. So how about that for a list of pretty amazing defensive players?
Yeah, players who can play in playoff series. We just saw Gary Payton change the NBA Finals. Jackson, I want to bring you back in here. This young core, you've got defensive talent. I think Jalen Green has the athleticism to be a defensive playmaker. The question now is, can they get the buy-in culturally? That is in part what Jabari Smith, that pick, was all about. It seems like this is an extension of trying to change the culture to not just say we have the bodies to play good defense, but we have guys who want to do it.
I absolutely think there was, if you look at the Houston Rockets, there were 2 guys who were kind of question marks as far as the culture fit, and that was Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. They've traded Christian Wood to the Dallas Mavericks, and so that is already one domino down as far as potential disruptive culture fits, a guy who maybe doesn't necessarily buy in on the defensive side at times. Now you've got a guy like Jabari Smith, a guy like Tari Eason, 2 guys who pride themselves on being impactful on that side of the basketball, really setting the tone on that side of the floor. And when you've got another guy like Jalen Green who absolutely thrives, putting in the work, wants to be, constantly talks about wanting to be a two-way force at the NBA level, I think this team is poised for some defensive greatness in the years to come.
For more on Bari and Tari, we're going with that. I like it. You can follow Jackson on Locked On Rockets wherever you get podcasts.